Hey there, guys. Welcome to what is going to be my first actually commentated recording. I normally just put text on top of these, but hi. Anyways, yeah, the title should tell you what I'm doing, what I'm talking about today. So but yeah, I'll be talking about my entire time with the creator, with the famous YouTube creator Ibella, who has almost 2 million subscribers. That is, which it's been slowing. It's slowed down recently, but still. I have probably probably nearly a year of time with her, or at least we chatted for nearly a year. Chatted for 11 months, and there is an obvious reason why. Which, yeah, that's already probably on the screen at the moment, or was on the screen. I don't know if it is or when it was, but yeah, it was on the screen at some point when I was just talking about it. But yeah, I'm just talking about all the encounters that I have with her and why. The first one, obviously, was the May 12th encounter. Anyways, the first real encounter was, not encounter, the first video show, or the first time when I was in a video of hers was, I'm pretty sure it was June 2nd. That appearance is in this video now on screen. I mean, I didn't have a major role in that video. In fact, I probably barely showed up at all. As a matter of fact, it was actually very brief. On screen is one of those appearances. The next encounter would probably be my biggest one, and that would be the Simon Says video. Was probably the most synonymous knowing of me, because that was actually the first time where I was properly mentioned many times, which was crazy for me to know. Which was crazy for me at that time. God knows how many more mentions I would have after that. I was freaking out over just helping on a video. But yeah, that was the first time where it was a major helper, and that's where I got really known. I wouldn't say the most known, but it was definitely a good enough video, and it actually cracked well over 2 million views, if I remember correctly. It'll probably, all the stats of those videos will just be on screen, so I'll stand corrected if it's not that. So, what else? And then, and in that same video, I was because I was the helper, and obviously, yes, I was mentioned a lot. I would become really synonymous on the channel. At that moment, on that specific day for that video, because that video did so well, and I was the main helper, at that moment in time, I would actually become one of the most well-known community members in the Ibella community in general. It'd be one of the most talked about members. You probably couldn't go to on that exact day, or for those few days after it, you wouldn't be able to go into an Ibella conversation without hearing me pop up at least once or maybe twice, possibly more times than that. Now, I'm not saying I was the most popular to talk about. Obviously, there was way more famous people, obviously, than me. But at that time, I was one of the most talked about, and that was crazy when I realized that. Now looking back, it makes sense, because that video had over 2 million views, probably. As I said, I'm pretty sure it did. And anyways, next appearance was, well, not really the next appearance, it's the next series of appearances, which they were part of the exact same series of videos, because there was 3 videos recorded for that exact series. There was obviously the Simon Says, but then the other 2 videos, they were not great. I'm gonna be honest. Even though they looked good in execution, they kind of got ruined by hackers going in the games and just being, doing hacker stuff, just ruining the experience for everyone. And of course, you had people who weren't listening, which caused major stress towards Bella. In fact, the three videos that were recorded on that day, which were the Olympics in Brookhaven, and the hide and seek in Brookhaven by Shrink Size, and the Simon Says in Brookhaven. All three of those videos might have not existed had the Olympics in Brookhaven video gone a completely different way. And the reason I say that is because, and I'm actually going to say this right now, out of all the videos I've been in, the next two series of videos, which I already mentioned, the Olympics in Brookhaven and the hide and seek in Brookhaven, both, I would call my worst appearances in videos. In fact, I would even, and I don't take this lightly, and not for any hate, I would even call some of the worst videos on the iBella channel, period, because of just the ruined experience due to hackers and just people not listening and just everywhere, just making those videos god awful. And they could have been great videos to just play and be in, but unfortunately that's not the way it went. And as I said, those videos, they were good. They had a good concept. It just didn't go very well. Like, neither of those videos really, or like, it's not that the videos. In fact, the videos actually, it looks pretty good with the viewer counts, but you actually got to keep in mind especially with the Olympics in Brookhaven, that one barely hit 300,000 views, which may seem like a lot, but for iBella in May or June, or for May, June, July of 2022, that's pathetic, considering most of her videos at that time were getting well over 1 million views. Either that or they were really, really close to cracking 1 million. So knowing that 300,000 actually seems like a completely trash number. And yeah, the reason, again, as I said, is just, it's not, and again, with the hide and seek in Brookhaven, it's really obvious to spot the hacker. That one is actually in the very intro, which it's not going to be put on the screen because I'm too lazy to do that. But yes, that one did get ruined by a hacker. I probably will, if I do end up putting a video on top of this to show where the hacker was, it'll probably be slowed down so that you can probably either be slowed down or it'll just be shown at full speed, like multiple times, so you all can see how fast that person was actually going. Because no, it was not an actual Brookhaven server. It was in one of Bella's private creations that are not actually public. Which means that no one should be able to have an insane amount of speed. And for the Olympics in Brookhaven one, for the hacker in that video, they were just infinite jumping. Like, there was no proof of it shown in the actual video itself. So that one will not go on screen at all. But even then, for the Olympics in Brookhaven video, which is actually the first one of those two, so I'm gonna quickly also talk about that. In that video, that one almost got canceled due to that hacker being just completely annoying, and for people not listening to Bella. And if that video, the Olympics in Brookhaven, if that video got canceled, then you wouldn't have seen the first Simon Says video, and you wouldn't have seen you also wouldn't have seen the hide and seek in Brookhaven video, which also did pretty badly, unfortunately.
Action! Attempt 14, literally.
Because of the people not listening to those, and for those hackers, it actually put Bella under so much stress that she ended up having a panic attack in the middle of the video. And the voice would kind of infer that. I could probably put a clip of it on screen with actual audio in it. but it'll be spliced so that so that I'm not talking over the audio clip.
Blue, please make a point so you guys can win. Please, Blue win.
Anyways, the next video that I would show up in would be the zombie apocalypse in Brookhaven, which actually didn't even release on the main channel. It released on Bella's second channel. But that was actually recorded long time in advance, and I don't know why, but it did not release for a few months. It eventually did release, but like by then that video had been recorded so long ago that I just forgot that I was in that video. I really have nothing else. I really have nothing to say about it though. It was pretty fun. Well, I don't even know if it was even called Zombie Apocalypse. I'll just throw it on screen just because I don't actually think that was in the title of the video. But yeah, you'll be able to see what I mean, like what I actually meant, because all the titles will be on screen anyway. Which after that video was recorded, which technically released months after it was actually recorded, or well, released 10 months after it recorded. I was not to be present in another video for a few months. Technically. And I say technically because that Zombie Apocalypse in Brookhaven video released just a few weeks before the actual next appearance of mine was, which was adopting every kid in Brookhaven, which again was for some reason where my name was really known amongst the community, which I don't know why me in specific. Like there was like 15 other people, or no, there was 14 other people excluding Bella herself. So why am I the one specifically to be the most well known out of the 15 who were in that video, especially when I had to actually leave early. So I was actually in the video for a less amount of time compared to everyone else. Well, that one would actually have to go to screen because I was on the screen, like on the actual video screen time for the longest. Because most of it coming just from Bella being able to do just her plugs, because and it still remains true to this day, but I have a lot of the merch on. You can't actually see it because it's being covered up, but you can actually still see the parasol here. But yeah, just know that on my character I have like 11 of Bella's merch pieces equipped. That can be corrected. I'll probably say if it's correct or incorrect in the editing with like a text box, and just to say if what I said is correct or just wrong. But yeah, I don't. As for why my name got really known at that exact moment, I have no idea. Because, to be honest, it was just a regular video. Anyways, the next video that I would partake in would take another few months before I got into anything else. However, the next video, well, it was actually a series of 2 videos, but I'll actually cover one and then the other. The first one was musical chairs. Yes, it was actually musical chairs. And again, nothing really to say about it. But in case you don't know, that video, I happened to be streaming at that exact moment. And as everyone in the iBella community knows, or just if you were stalking on my Twitter page for some reason, or if you were watching that stream or happened to watch that stream for some reason, then you would know that on that specific video that I was also happening to be live streaming at the time, I actually received a copyright claim for. Yeah, that is that's why that video actually, in fact, the video actually had to have the music replaced with something else because of the copyright. It was not fun to have to deal with that. And in fact, because of me getting copyright claimed, it actually delayed the video, I'm pretty sure, by like a little bit, because it really put more editing, or like it really required more editing to be done on the editor's end. And that's not the fault of anyone. No one was to know that the song was copyrighted until that specific part was released from the stream. But yeah, that just goes to show, you should always make sure the songs that you use are not copyright. Else it can make a really long-lasting impact and can make you take way longer than you actually should on your editors specifically. Because everyone has lives to live, even the editors. Anyways, anything else? If there's anything that you really want me to say, is that on that exact video, one of my actual best friends who have actually been friends with for what, 4 years, 5 years, I don't know. It's a really long time, I'll tell you that much. Way before I met anyone else, even, which was Kira. I should also mention that I had a short regarding the musical share section because I accidentally killed Bella during the recording. Yeah, she was not happy about that one. And that one will actually stay known for as long as everyone knows, because that was an infamous moment. Not just for Bella, but also for me, because that is not a great thing to notice. I'll also just say, before anyone else makes fun of Bella for dying in her own recording, that she had no control over that. It was actually all on me. And in fact, I happened to do it twice. Once in the actual recording and once off camera. Or once during the off-camera gameplay, which was, again, not brilliant at all. It could have been better. It could have been a little better executed, but not to say the video was bad. It was actually pretty good. And for the last technical appearance, I'll go into more detail why I said technical, but the last appearance of me in one of her videos was, of course, the third Simon Says video. I did not partake, as I said earlier, I did not partake in the second Simon Says video. I only partook in the first and the third, which, yeah, the third Simon Says video, I have nothing to say. It was the Simon Says where I famously clipped through the box and ended up surviving for 2 more rounds because of it. While I was trying to tell Bella about what happened, but she kept ignoring, so I just stayed alive for those extra 2 rounds. Or was it 3 rounds? Oh my god. Again, I'll put a text box to say how many rounds I actually ended up surviving longer. Or like how many more rounds I ended up surviving for. It was definitely either 2 or 3. I just can't remember. And that is all the videos that I've actually been in for her channel. But that is not the last time that we actually talked with each other. As I said, our first conversation was back in May of 2022. And that was not for her video, and it wasn't even technically meant, and it was technically on a video that I made, as I had said earlier. So yeah, we're gonna go now into other obscure things, which really doesn't take too long. On February 6th, it's already known at this point. On February 6th, I became a trial mod in the iBella Discord server, which also leads into the next meetup very conveniently, which was 5 days after that, on February 11th, where I was literally just streaming, and then Bella just comes in out of nowhere and decides to give me commands in her own game. At this point, because of the lack of streams recently, the powers have actually been dropped to just a regular mod role rather than the admin that I was given originally. But I mean, you can't complain. At least it's something. And yes, on her birthday, she ended up leaving for her cruise. And I actually had made a drawing for Bella. That was another interaction that we had. Actually, we interact basically anytime if I draw anything for her. That's just a given, really. And as I said earlier, if you're saying like, oh, y'all are friends, just stop. No. Again, putting that on screen. No. You are wrong to assume that. While yes, her and I are really close, and we act like friends all the time, we are not. At least as of me recording this, and probably as of the time of this being watched, unless for some reason this is a post-op, unless for some reason this is way in the future, which I cannot predict. What else? On April Fool's Day, there was nothing because, well, Bella was out on her cruise ship, and I was gonna say anything, but yeah, she was not there for a lot of the time after her birthday, really. And then obviously Bella's group hit 500,000 members during her time away on the cruise ship. But either she just didn't know, or for some reason she thought that she had hit it way before, when it was actually during the time she was on the cruise, and she just didn't celebrate the 500,000 member milestone on her Roblox group. Which I tried to tell her, but it didn't work. And for the last thing that is kind of relevant, but not really relevant on Bella. It's on Bella herself, but commonly to where I am now in regards with Bella. On April 3rd of this, or in fact, which is actually 9 days ago, 10 days ago, around that. But it was April 3rd. I ended up being promoted to a junior moderator, and yes, that's where it stands now.